Let's have a look at what the newspapers are saying this morning in Nigeria, across Nigeria and beyond. The Nation newspaper is the first with me with a screaming headline: minimum wage strike call sparks states labor row. Minimum wage strike call sparks states labor row. And then we have shareholders rally for UBA's 239.4 billion rights issue. Malaria vaccine for inauguration in 2 states today. French investors to revive 2,000 abandoned mining pits in Nigeria. The Nation shines at Dame Awards, Tinubu Ramaphosa for binational talks. On the bottom strip, consumer rights violation. FCCPC to engage bank, telco, airline. You find that on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Labour begins nationwide strike, cites empty promises by governors. That on page 6. Atiku, Zulum lead northern opposition against tax bills ahead of National Assembly debate. I never knew Gowon saved me from Abacha, Obasanjo says. As after Gowon said that he wrote Abacha not to execute former President Olusegun Obasanjo. 2027, splinter APC group moves to register with INEC. Also, government mom as poly lecturers begin strike today. Judiciary graft abuse of power diminish public confidence, AGF says. Name contractors that disappeared with MBAs, 167 billion naira. Serap tells Tinubu. Groups demand regionalism, parliamentary system, new name for Nigeria. That's about it for the Guardian newspaper. Next is This Nigeria. Tax reform bills, North-South intensify battle. Ohaneze berates North, says Tinubu's proposed reform will shore up economy. Zulum, passing tax bills into law will have adverse effect on North. FCT, why defaulting land and property owners should pay up their bills. Nigeria records 6,840 cases of post-election litigation since 1999. You see that on page 4. Experts condemn petrol blending controversy in Port Harcourt refinery. That's on page 14 of This Nigeria newspaper. And on the ear of the newspaper, FCCPC engages GT Bank, MTN, Airpeace over rights violation. Next is the Punch newspaper. Tax reform. Reps suspend debate indefinitely as northern governors mount pressure. 72 lawmakers, Zulum, Tambuwal reject bills. APC slams critics as northern group protest rather. Port Harcourt refinery, low-key operation begins. Marketers oppose 1,030 naira per litre. Swiss cement maker sells $1 billion stake in Lafarge. And also we have military retirees plant protests over unpaid entitlements. Mother, 2 children killed as arsonist set family ablaze in Lagos. How Obasanjo rejected single-term presidency on Lanipekun. You see that on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. And above the masthead, we have Punch Wayne's newspaper editor of the year, others at Dame Awards. Interesting. Next is First News newspaper. Tax bill controversy. Atiku urges National Assembly to revisit NEC resolutions. Jonathan hails Fubara as Rivers' emerging political general despite challenges. You see, the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, flanking Dr. Ken Nwala, His Royal Highness, Dr. Ken, that's Dr. Ken Nwala Onye, and also Fubara, Governor Fubara of Rivers State. On the bottom strip, troops crush bandits in Taraba, seize arms, ammunition. And then Obasanjo thanks Gowon for life-saving letter to Abacha. I had no idea, he says. Tinubu departs France for South Africa to join Ramaphosa as by National Commission. IPOP disowns Simon Ekpa's supporters over United States of Biafra declaration. Ebonyi NLC announces 1-week strike over unpaid new minimum wage. And Trump warns BRICS nations 100% tariff or tariffs loom if dollar is raised. Okay. Next is Nigerian News Direct. Passing new tax bill into law will have consequences. Only Lagos, Rivers will benefit. Zulum, Atiku urges transparency, calls for inclusive stakeholder engagement. Deputy Senate President defends bills, dismisses critics as misunderstanding legislation. Page 6. Trending video, NAFDAC Lagos government disagree on identity of officers conducting regulatory checks. You see that on page 23. NDLEA intercepts cocaine consignments concealed in stomach by 59-year-old businessman. 8th Energy Summit. You're doing well, Akpabio, Patton, tell Solwant Group. On the bottom strip, FCCPC investigates MTN, Airpeace, others over exploitation, poor quality of service. Next is Platform Times. Nigerians were living fake good life with fuel subsidy. That's according to Tinubu. Panic as armed robbers ambush El Kanemi warriors, injure players, officials in Bauchi. Commotion as terrorists attack Zamfara community, kill elderly man, abduct 13. Ex-Akwa Ibom First Lady urges women to drive nation building, stronger parenting. Serap to Tinubu, named contractors who stole 167 billion naira from MDAs. Delta police allegedly beat resident to death, extort 150,000 naira before demise, I guess. Now, villagers flee as unknown gunmen return, kill alleged informant in Abia. IGP orders investigation into Kogi boat mishap. And the Daily Times is next. Why Nigeria is underdeveloped, Primate Undukuba says Nigeria is instrumental in transforming our continent. Tinubu Ramaphosa to co-chair 11th Binational Commission. Rate of accidents on newly repaired 3rd mainland bridge worries federal government. Obasanjo tasks Plateau residents on unity, love. And Atiku urges National Assembly to ensure transparency, objectivity in conducting public hearing over tax reform bills. And the last with me here is a New Telegraph newspaper. Concerns over leadership recruitment process as Kuka's submission triggers debate on leadership question. You see that on page 9 and 10. Tinubu vows to end insecurity in Nigeria, stabilize ECOWAS. White church members don't attend faith-based varsities, Olukoya. Also, twice yearly injection reduces HIV risk, that's according to study. Federal government to probe complaints against bank, airline, telco. You see that on page 8. And GDP, financial institutions' contribution up 31.7% to 3.28 trillion naira. Theo.
The Daily Trust says, yes, CBN to retire 1,000 offers 50 billion naira payoff. They are offering me 97 million naira for 4-year service. 17 sacked directors yet to be replaced. Federal government begins malaria vaccination for children today. Minimum wage states raised to beat NLC deadline. Obasanjo to go on. I never knew you asked the budget not to kill me. Experts differ on impact of Tinubu's tax reform on the North. The Inquirer, the Abuja Inquirer says here, minimum wage pupils in FCT public schools endure third strike in 2024. NLC orders strike over wage row. Era of fake good life over. No going back on reform, says Tinubu. Open defecation. FCTA targets end by 2025, says Ruwasa. While we suspended foreign scholarship for academic staff, says State Fund. Tax reforms will drive economic growth, says Rep. Agbese. How I begged Abacha not to execute Obasanjo, says go on. The Hope newspaper says here, again, IPOB blast embattled Simon Ekpa, says your sponsors behind insecurity in Igbo land. Group laughs at declaration of Biafra state in Finland, calls it a scam. Nigeria's GDP gained 15 trillion naira by 2025. Serap urges Tinubu to expose companies behind 167 billion naira MDA's fraud. The Daily Independent says 2025 budget with 13.8 trillion naira deficit, federal government may return to ways and means advances. Experts canvass listing assets to raise equity. Banks may face tough rules, guidelines in 2027, says CBN. Article joins, Article joins others to kick against tax reform bill. Today's Nigeria worse than our time, says former Kano Milad. Lagos Abuja airports rake in Nigeria's 62% air traffic in 2023, says a report. Benin, Kebbi, Katsina, Makodi, Bauchi, Mina had 0% air traffic. Only 3 of the 22 airports in the country are profitable. We move to Business AM. Economic hardship persists as questions cloud Nigeria's GDP growth report. Accuracy of data in doubt, says Nasima. Economic growth not inclusive, says Uwalike. $2 billion power play. China's Saudi bond deal shifts global financial dynamics. Of course, that's it in the Business AM newspaper this morning. We move to the national economy. Lopsided open skies agreement. $3.96 billion annual earnings opportunities elude Nigeria as foreign airlines make $4 billion yearly from Nigeria's aviation sector. Ease of doing business ranking. Implications for Nigeria's economy. Nigeria intensifies IMO seats bid, unveils national marine policy blueprint. Nature News, it says here, envoy slams Nigeria over gas flaring. Envoy slams Nigeria over gas flaring. Nigeria and Netherlands develop oil and gas emissions methane tracker. Sokoto restates resolve to surmount water challenges. Lagos refutes sachet water ban claims. Stakeholders urge immediate ban on single-use plastics. Poses over deforestation of UI's Heritage Park. Scientists discover new chemical in tap water, raising safety concerns. And finally, from my end, Sporting Life newspaper, it says Tottenham 1, Fulham 1. Alexi will be unlucky. Nigeria's shots hits crossbar, equals best starts to a PL season. NFF finalized a new foreign coach for Super Eagles. Negotiations to be concluded soon. Sponsors to pay salary of would-be gaffer. Osimhen records 3rd Super League assist in a game between Galatasaray and Everspor, and it went on 2-2. Tyson Fury versus Usyk. Joshua predicts Fury's defeats in Riyadh. Pep threatens to quit. Of course, we have more here. Uwabali